When America is weak, whether actually or just perceived as weak, the world is a more dangerous place. That's what President Joe Biden just doesn't seem to understand. And that was on full display in his so-called address to the main nation on prime time last night. But we'll get to that in just a moment. See, the radical left woke mob can continue to deny the president's cognitive decline. They can whisk past his regular stumbles up and down the stairs or him literally falling on his face. His slurred speech and his deer in the headlights, routine prolonged pausing, or simply getting lost and needing help just to get off the stage. However, our enemies across the world are clearly seeing it. Frankly, I don't care about the Democrats or liberal reporters ignoring his feebleness or denying his decline, but the world leaders who want to do us harm and provoke our allies, they can't help but take advantage of his feckless policies that are endangering all Americans here at home and our global allies everywhere. The fact that he can barely walk or finish a sentence, that's not what keeps me up at night. It's that our enemies abroad are ready to take advantage of that, as well as all of his failures to lead, his incompetence, his abdication to sound policy and setting the correct course for our nation. That's what has me terrified for our future of America. There's real consequences when the President of the United States runs out of Afghanistan like a scared fool, leaving Americans, loyal operatives, and tons of military equipment behind for who? Terrorists. There's a price to pay when our commander-in-chief deploys a plan of capitulation and appeasement to China, Iran, Russia, and don't forget the cartels controlling the southern border. The price that is paid is stark, it's expensive, and it's drenched in the blood of the innocent, as we're seeing from the bodies left in shallow graves along the route to our southern border, in the atrocities in the suburbs of Kyiv, and now with the war crimes that claims the lives of raped women, beheaded, mutilated children, and burned elderly outside of Gaza, in Israel, our most important ally in the Middle East. The harsh reality is that our enemies have never been bolder. They have absolutely no respect for Joe Biden. He was supposed to land in Amman, Jordan, to meet face-to-face with Jordan's King Abdullah II, Egypt's El-Sisi, and the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. They snubbed him. Let me say that again. They snubbed him. That's why he only landed in Israel and only met with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu. That brings us finally to last night's primetime address. Let's take stock first of right now where we stand, okay? America's broke. We are literally trillions in debt, and the deficit's growing under Biden at a clip we've never even seen before. Biden's Democrats are increasingly out of touch with reality and even more with basic decency, for that matter. You know, cheering on Hamas terrorists as they butcher innocent Israelis? The world is literally on fire. And what we all hoped to see was a firm, steady hand in the Oval Office, setting the record straight and laying out a clear, bold course of action. At least that's what I was hoping for. What we got instead from Joe Biden was incomprehensible, bizarrely off message, and frankly, it was alarming. Instead of focusing on the clear and present need to defend our closest ally, Israel, he mixed and mingled completely unrelated issues, meandering around the world, trying to weave all his failures together.
Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it. Iran is supporting Russia in Ukraine, and it's supporting Hamas and other terrorist groups in the region.
You know, Joe Biden has had 20 months and over $100 billion to try and end the war in Ukraine. He's failed. He's been slow at every step. He's allowed the Russians to turn this war into a war of attrition. And it's increasingly turning into a partisan, controversial issue on Capitol Hill. So instead of standing firm on helping Israel and seizing the moment to lead America in defense of our staunchest ally, Biden used his speech to link the two wars together, using Israel to try and deflect from the other failures in Ukraine. But that's not even the worst part. Instead of asserting himself as the wartime leader we need, unequivocally in support of Israel, Joe Biden instead goes on a wild diatribe about our duties to the Palestinians. Every call to defend Israel, he waters down with some wishy-washy garbage about our moral duties to the people who overwhelmingly elected Hamas and are even today denying Israel's right to exist with their genocidal chants.
I'm heartbroken by the tragic loss of Palestinian life, including the explosion at the hospital in Gaza. We can't ignore the humanity of innocent Palestinians who only want to live in peace and have an opportunity.
And what's worse? What's the solution to all this madness? It's unclear, and we don't really know. There is a very clear solution, though. It's actually a no-brainer, I think you would agree. How about we borrow a page from Donald Trump's playbook? Call a spade, and go after the real enemy here, because it's not Hamas. It's not Hezbollah. It's certainly not extremist MAGA Republicans. It's Iran. Pick up where President Trump left off. Sanction the hell out of these genocidal ayatollahs right back into the Stone Age. And then this conflict ends. Instead of coddling them, letting them inch closer to a nuclear bomb with every passing day, letting them get filthy rich off of selling their oil to China and killer drones to Russia, how about putting America first for once and rip out this threat once and for all right at its core? We'll never hear that from this president. I doubt we ever will, but we certainly didn't hear it last night.